The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max, Monday Night Raw, Review.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max's Raw Review for January 9th, 2017. And here we are. We are a part of the W2M Network. Please go subscribe now if you haven't already. You'll get plenty of great content right where you download all your podcasts into. Plus, don't forget W2Mnet.com. It's where you get all your reading material, plus lots of great reviews. You get video game news, not only that, but you also get a lot of wrestling and football. So trust me, great website. You need to go check it out now. But, well, first, we're going to jump into some Monday Night Raw before you do that.
Yes. Did I miss the first 10 minutes of Raw? So I'm blanking. But,
I'm going to guess you missed a talking segment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
missed
you
the
did.
segment with Stephanie and Mick Foley. There was going to be a job review for Mick Foley on this episode of Raw, and well, basically, as we learn later on, Stephanie hinges the entire performance review on the fact of whether or not the Undertaker shows up on Raw this evening, because, you know, Undertaker showed up on SmackDown before, so he better show up on Raw. And then Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins show up, and they want to kill Roman Reigns or Goldberg. And basically, this leads into, I think, Reigns, Jericho, and Owens coming in. Stuff happens with the five guys that we've already seen. Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman have a match. That ends by DQ because, you know, then that happens. And I guess they restarted the match or something. And then it ends by a double count out.
This
So
is Braun Strowman. Yeah, Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins, have their own match, So
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, we have that happen, and then we have a double count out because got to protect both guys, which I guess makes sense, but I don't understand why you even had to have them have a match if you're just going to do this.
At the end of the day, they're just trying to make it all work, even though it is not really all that interesting. And that's the biggest problem here. We talked about this last week. We'll probably continue to talk about this every week. They have an opener, which is talkie-talkie, of course, Mick Foley and all that. And it's really just to get us down to brass tacks of, hey, all these guys were trying to stack into the Royal Rumble and they're part of this main event. Well, we're going to continue mixing them up and throwing them into the same matches you've seen 100 times now, but we're going to continue doing it because we think we can kind of throw in a stipulation or put them in a tag team match or various things. And none of this, honestly, is all that entertaining. I get it. Yes, Seth Rollins walks in the room with Mick Foley and Stephanie and pretends he's the big dog in the room. How many times have we seen this? This is just old hat. Braun Strowman, of course, interrupting and all that. The original match, with, of course, Kevin Owens and Jericho and Reigns and, all Seth Rollins, it is what it is. It's fine, but it didn't last long because of Braun Strowman. The match with Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins was okay, too. But once again, it's what you've seen before. Of course, Seth Rollins gets the upper hand, and of course now Braun Strowman goes out of the ring, does his normal stick, and then of course double count out. So this is all just rounding out to be ho hum, and I hate to be that way because it should be entertaining, and it's entertaining to an extent. But guys, we've seen this before. This is not new. and I'm getting kind of tired of it. I hope Royal Rumble can get here in a hurry so we can change some of this stuff. It's just kind of becoming same old hat. It's kind of sad when I'm looking forward to, man, can the Cruiserweights come on now?
The worst part of it is the main event later, where you have Roman Reigns against Kevin Owens again. Oh, but wait, Chris Jericho is actually part of the match too. Except we've seen Chris Jericho versus Roman Reigns already as well. And this is pretty much a whatever match, basically set up so that Jericho can win the title. He's now the first, I guess, true grand champion in wrestling, if you count all promotions that no longer exist. And Roman Reigns is no longer the U.S. champion, so that Roman Reigns can be titleless going into the Royal Rumble, which means Roman Reigns is going to win the title, guys. Are you excited? Are we ready for this? Are we ready for the big dog to walk out with the WWE Championship again? Because you know it's happening.
I can hear the Paul's excitement already.
Yeah, I think the little silence there pretty much summed up everything I feel about this.
I mean, it can't be worse than Kevin Owens, right? He's just been booked like, the best champion ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's been second fiddle the entire time. That's how you book a successful.
Hold on, you want to see how bad this is? There was a poll on WWE.com, which I think went up to this number. Who's been the better champion? 90% said AJ Styles. 10% said Kevin Owens. Not even a margin for error there.
They're not wrong.
I'm just saying, it shows you.
It does show you, and it really honestly nothing against Kevin Owens. I think honestly Kevin Owens has been a great Universal Champion for what it's worth, what he's been put in place to do.
Yeah, for the shit that he's had to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to look at that actual championship that, the WWE Championship that, is held by AJ Styles and everything he's done, the exciting matches, the fact that he's not stuck in the same thing all the time. Yes, okay, we get it. He's been in the little stuff with, James Ellsworth and all that stuff and Dean Ambrose, but that just didn't feel
It's because
old.
he looks strong. Dude. I mean, yeah, they made him look dumb with Ellsworth at times, but he looks strong. He's shown as the person's equal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just lose to John Cena or Dean Ambrose or Dolph Ziggler or whatever every single week, or barely beat someone, or just made to look like a total buffoon, like Kevin Owens does at times. And yeah, him and Jericho are great, but
Yeah, it is what it is. And it's going to get worse, I think, if, this does come to fruition, Roman Reigns, because I think, you're still going to have all those people that are not on his side. And what they'll do is they won't put these kind of polls out anymore once Roman Reigns is champion.
Oh, they're going to boo even more now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
So.
I mean, there's two real takeaways I take from this. Moving the U.S. title for Roman Reigns is the right call no matter what. He wasn't doing anything with it. They treated him as above it, and frankly, I kind of like it on Jericho. Maybe he's willing to work a lot more with a younger talent, and giving him a mid-card belt to work with him I think is going to help a lot. Secondly, Braun Strowman is sort of been elevated into the main event, four-way, never-ending merry-go-round cycle, which is good because I think he's been the most interesting. And while they do protect him and Seth here, I mean, him added to the proceedings could mean that Sami Zayn gets buffed up because of all that, and suddenly you have 6. Maybe things down the road for Raw are going to look a little fresher, especially whenever they get Finn back.
Yeah, and bringing up Finn Balor is a great point too, and that's something that I think we haven't really added to this equation. And so I think that's a good point. So, I mean, there's lots of things here that hopefully will be new and fresh after Royal Rumble. At this point, I think it's nice to see Jericho as U.S. champion for the reasons you guys just pointed out. But not only that, to have some change, to actually have something different. And not only that, right now at this moment before we get to Royal Rumble, now Kevin Owens and Jericho have titles. Now you get to have the fun with that. I think they can make jokes. They can do all the, a lot more creative things as, co-champions in a way, if you want to say it that way, because they call each other champion of, whatever. So they share the titles. But, this is not, a bad way to end Raw tonight with Jericho. So I think that's positive. You're not having to hear Roman Reigns' music again. It's good. But if you take everything that, these two guys, and of course the rest of those guys, including Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman, have been involved in this night, it hasn't been their best effort. It definitely wasn't the most appealing.
Nah, it wasn't. So, not a whole lot really. But the show seemed to be focused on quite a few other things on this night, really. If we're being honest here.
Yeah,
so,
you are.
Basically the show was really built around two old guys coming back. That's what they wanted you to think about this show. That's what they were really promoting outside of the main event. So, you do have Shawn Michaels appear here again. He says he's missing his time being in front of the WWE audience, especially because it's around the Royal Rumble. And you get one more match chance. He shows his movie. And then Rusev comes out with Jinder and Lana. And Rusev tells Shawn Michaels that you need to put my wife, Lana, in the movie. And HBK is like, look, this movie's already done. You can't really put somebody in the movie if the movie's done already. And Russo keeps insisting that you put Lana in the movie, because he's the Bulgarian George Clooney. I'm sure that that Lana is not going to, complain about that. And you get Enzo and Cass coming out because, that thing's got to keep going. Basically, they come up with stupid movie references. And then, we get the soft, we get suck it, we get everything else. And I don't know. This was dumb.
And you get this match.
Wait. And you lead to Big Cass and Jinder Mahal. Oh, my God. That's the big payoff, guys. Big Cass and Jinder Mahal. I guess you got a super kick to Rusev, too, so that's nice. But good
Poor
God.
Rusev. What did this guy do? What did he do to deserve all this? He draws the short straw every time.
Every time there's a legend, he gets... whatever.
He gets whooped.
Yep. Or he gets his wife harassed, or,
It goes back to what I always say. It's about Vince McMahon being mad at Rusev for out-kicking his coverage when it comes to getting married to Lana. So he's just making him pay. Just saying, because he's jealous. But at the end of the day, poor Rusev, you're right. And here it comes to what we have to say is two of the most entertaining guys on Raw, which is Enzo and Kaz, right? Everybody loves them. It's this soft guys. They do all the things. I usually like their stuff, but, tonight was okay. Not their strongest effort. Even Rusev and his whole thing with, the whole movie thing, that just became so repetitive, and it was so flat. There's not much to it. It's all you could say in return to Shawn Michaels is, well, you got to put her in the movie and all this stuff. It's true. What I'm battling with here, guys, is the fact that the segment was not that great. I'm sorry. It was just, I think Shawn Michaels did fine. It's not because I'm a Shawn Michaels mark and I'm kissing his feet. It's just the fact that he just knows how to handle himself. The guy, he's a legend for a reason, right? I think he did fine. But what he had to work with just was not there. And it wasn't that appealing. Now, I say that with the fact that, Rusev wasn't wrong. She would have made the movie better. I haven't seen the movie yet, and I'm already knowing it probably would have been better with her in it. So, But at the end of the day, this was just kind of there. I don't know, Shawn. I kind of felt like I was just going through the motions through this thing.
I was watching the game that was much better than that. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
I mean that's fine. I mean I know, and you didn't waste your time. Trust me, the game was very interesting. I watched both.
I had the game on one screen and I got the Raw on the computer, so it's which I do want to point out, the PS View allows you to watch something on your computer, something on one of your systems, and on your phone at the same time. That's not a legal stream. I just want to point that out for somebody.
Yeah.
I get
Don't send him to jail.
Fire or whatever. No, yeah. I'll get somebody's like, oh my God, y'all sit here and preach about New Japan World and y'all are illegally streaming Raw. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Hey, go pay your $8.60. You can go watch all the Wrestle Kingdom you want. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Paul, I mean, I just want to ask Paul really quickly. I mean, using Shawn Michaels in this effort is understanding, but
is it?
He's shilling his movie. That's the only reason.
This is a waste of time. This is all this is.
You're right. It is a waste of time, but to an extent, you use guys like this usually to get other people over, to help them, to make them better, to give them an opportunity to shine along with you. That's at least your hope. And it is really not against Rusev. I'm sorry. It had nothing to do with his effort. He did it fine. Alana, him did, gender just stands there. At the end of the day, though, I think this is about creative. I think this is about the writers and the fact that they just had something so stupid that they came up with. And these poor people had to come out and just present
Vince. Vince is the writer here. Okay.
Well, whoever it is, Vince, if it's him, it's their fault. I don't blame this on Rusev at all. It sucked.
Well, I don't blame it on Rusev either. He's just out there doing his job. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, even Enzo and Kaz, that was the stupidest. The movie thing, it was just.
I was sitting there. I made a joke on Twitter. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Rusev has heard all these movie lines in real life concerning his relationship. I don't think he really needs to hear these in this stupid show, too. And it's just like, come on. You don't think he's been called Beauty and the Beast before? I mean, give me a break. Like, every ugly guy that's with a hot girl, that's probably been said. I mean, just give me a break.
I will say this: they really probably should have drafted them to do this movie, hired them to do the new Beauty and the Beast movie, because the girl is doing it now. She looks like a kid.
Emma Watson.
Oh,
how dare I know?
She's a
how
kid,
dare
man.
you, Gary?
I don't know.
More adult than AJ Lee.
She just does not scream Belle. I'm sorry. Just does not scream Belle.
I don't have a problem.
But anyway, I'm just throwing out there.
I think it's because we've watched her grow up from the Harry Potter movies to now, and you kind of perhaps.
I didn't watch. Well, I take that back. I watched the first two with a girlfriend, and I tried not to pay attention to them. So, but yeah, I get you.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm an old fart, man. I'm telling you. But let's move on to something better than this segment.
Hold on, Gary is like 2 or 3 years older than us, and he's an old fart.
I just want it to be known, I love Emma Watson. That's really all I want to take away from this segment.
I agree with you, Paul.
I don't have a problem with her. I just think this was a miscast.
Well, she is a very good actress, so she will make the character perform pretty well compared to the animated movie or whatever.
What?
But this is the wrong podcast.
Yeah. I just got really offended, but move on.
Hold on. It's animated, Gary. Like, what acting are you doing in that movie?
I'm so curious how Belle comes across as old to you, too. She's got statutory written all over.
Yeah, it's an animated movie, so I don't hold that into play, okay? And I don't know. I just say that's a classic movie. How can you say that she's going to outdo a classic? That's just.
I'm saying compared to like
she's a phenomenal actress.
Other Beauty and the Beast movies that I have seen that are not the animated one, where you're doing voice acting, much different than actual live action acting. She's gonna knock it all out of the park. I've seen some French Beauty and the Beast movies; they're terrible. Okay.
Okay.
And that's supposed to be where that damn thing originated from. So I'm just making that point.
No, I get you, and I hope you're right. I'm just saying voice acting is still very important. I mean, we're about to find the Doctor Who. The 10th Doctor Who is going to be Scrooge McDuck, okay? So hopefully he does a better job.
Hell yes. He is going to be awesome because David Tennant is amazing. This is the wrong podcast.
Yeah, let's move on to something.
So let's focus back on wrestling now that we've had the entertainment hour on this show. I did watch those Golden Globes this afternoon. I'm making this reference because they make this reference about like 3 times on the show because, WWE and their pop culture references. By the way, shout out to Atlanta winning things. That was great. And the freaking mom from Blackish winning something. That's amazing. But anyway, the first time they mentioned this was with the beatdown that happens after Bayley and Sasha are talking to each other backstage about sort of how you would expect Sasha to come in and slyly ask for a title shot after Bayley wins because they're buddies. And then Charlotte gets offended, of course, and is offended at the fact that she thinks Sasha will basically teach Bayley all of her little secrets. And, they go back and forth or whatever. Then Nia Jax comes in and she just whoops everybody and even puts Charlotte up against the equipment boxes or whatever that are all stacked up against each other. That's how a heel should be booked. Why do they need to be playing patty cake with each other? Why do y'all need to like each other? Just go whoop the other heel. You don't want anybody to be getting in your way. So, you know what? Nia Jax just takes out everyone. It's alright. And later we get a tag match booked with Sasha and Bayley because Sasha's still kind of hurt. She's wearing the brace against Nia Jax and Charlotte. The match is okay. I don't know why you need to get Bayley pinned here, but whatever. I guess Nia Jax got her win back, so 50-50 booking. Hooray! And yeah, there might be... Oh, Alicia Fox freaking lip locks Noam Dar to the point where he faints. Because it basically almost faints. And then she reveals that she basically did it because Cedric knew that he couldn't handle a real woman. So I guess Noam Dar is the total dork here. So that is the extent of your women involvement on this show. And people are still waiting for Emily.
Yeah, still. And that's the biggest shame. I think it's a crime.
That's gotten to the point where I think people are just not caring. It's like it's going to be a total dud when she shows up on TV.
Well, you know what? I may disagree because you may actually get her on TV and then be mad because she got on there and you lost all those other images that you were getting before. So, but anyway,
she's not going to show up in a bikini on TV.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You're going to lose that to gain her on TV. So I'm saying you may want to push this off out longer, maybe WrestleMania 35 or something. But anyway, I look at this as, the old Charlotte and, of course, Bayley thing, and it rounds out where you got Sasha and Nia Jax and all that. It's okay. Once again, I kind of feel like we're running in place. And I'm not trying to be... It sounds like I'm being so negative, but I'm trying not to be, but I thought this could be
You're going to say this for like 3 more weeks, so...
I know. That's why they're running in place. I get it. But at the same time, I mean, it's just kind of like, okay. Hey, this is good. Nia Jax looks strong. That's what she's supposed to be. And they need to continue that. And they need to continue that and continue it because she's supposed to be intimidating. She's supposed to be a monstrous type figure, which is good. But at the end of the day, you can't, of course, have the title out, switch hands, and all that stuff. So you've got to continue pushing that off. I get it. So not a big deal. I'll leave that alone. This whole...
Well, Nia and Sasha screams pre-show to me anyway.
Yeah, that's not so entertaining. I mean, it's okay. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to be anything super entertaining. Alicia Fox, this thing with Noam Dar. So how masculine can you make her look? That's what they do here. Like, she's dipping him and kissing him and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay,
That's
that
the
looks
point,
like
though.
it is, and it's not, because I don't know about you, but if my wife, who's shorter than I am, weighs a lot less than I do, did that to me, that would be awkward. But not only that, I think that would present a different problem in our relationship.
But
I don't know.
hold on, this dude's creepy. Like, the whole point is that he might actually like this kind of thing.
He might, but the way he acted was like dumbfounded and kind of weird. And not only that, she's dating Cedric, and she's doing this to another guy. That's just kind of like,
he's shocked at that she kissed him that hard. He's like knocked out by the kiss, like that nerd that like never's had any, and he like gets some attention all of a sudden, and he's like, oh my god, I just freaking climax because she touched me. I mean, that's pretty much what they're trying to convey here, almost. And that she is putting out the point that the fact that he got that shocked and dumbfounded is because he can't handle a woman. Because if you've been through this situation before, you're supposed to just be like, all right, and go on. You know,
I went about this the wrong way. Okay, this is the way I went around. I made too much of a deal about it. Here's the thing. The reason I use the word masculine, because I would have feel very odd about the way that took place. I think it would have been more to that point and more of showing how emasculated he was when it comes to that would be just her to use a sensual move. That wasn't so sensual. That was almost like, hey, I'm going to hold you up and I'm going to kiss you. That's just the way it looked. I think if she had had more of a feminine, sensual thing, that would have been, hey, you nailed it right there. Look, he can't handle feminine. Right now, all I know is he can't handle another dude grabbing him and kissing him. I mean, that just proved it to me. I just think it was too masculine. That's my thing. That's something small, stupid to say, but I think they could have went about it much better to tell their story. That's all.
Weren't so many people at first complaining that it was taken away from what the women's revolution was doing because Alicia was just a centerpiece, and then she gets a moment finally to look sort of strong and independent and knows what she's doing, and suddenly not so good? Is that what's happening here?
That's what Gary's saying. I don't.
No, but I mean, the reason I'm saying this is because you should look strong and independent, and she can be that and still be feminine. That's the thing. And
that's not the point, though, Gary. Like, you're looking into this, I think, way too hard.
Well, I'm just kind of curious why you defend it so much, because
I'm defending it because basically Alicia Fox is admitting this. Her and Cedric have come up with this, just like Noam Dar keeps screwing Cedric in his matches, okay? And then Alicia, byproduct, is also messing him up in his matches. They have come up with a plan to make Noam Dar look stupid. So they're getting him back for and he's so creepy. It actually works because he's so creepy that he would actually like that kind of thing. And yeah, he looks dumb afterwards, but they're getting kind of their revenge in a way. It's all silly. None of it's. I don't know that any of it's really doing a whole lot for Alicia Fox. I think the only person that's really getting anything out of this is Noam Dar. Honestly, he's getting a character. But
yeah,
it's whatever.
It is whatever, and it's stupid to be sitting here for 15 minutes talking about it because I'm being an idiot about it. But my thing is I can probably do 15 different ways. I could have booked this a little bit differently. I would have taken her, picking him up by his arms, picking him up, slamming him against the wall, and giving him a huge kiss. That's considered masculine, but that's the right kind. I think this whole dip thing is just overly weird. And she would have made him feel differently. I don't know. I just thought it was uncomfortable.
See, Gary keeps continually showing us why we need to have a Gary After Dark show, because now he's talking about a woman slamming up against the wall, I mean, like, Gary gets all really kinky on this show.
Look,
I
I
mean,
know these dominatrix things. I will teach you.
See, there you go. There you go. See, I don't know what,
Chains, handcuffs.
I don't
Anyway,
know what we're talking about now, but
yeah, you did a good. They did a good job. Noam Dar now is awkward, but keep him creepy. Let's keep this whole thing going. I think it's actually better than the other women's segment, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, the other stuff just seems business as usual. Building up the two feuds at the same time, sort of working them into a tag match here. That's really all you got going on there.
Yep.
And they are wrestling each other on 205 Live on Tuesday, so that's why they did this as well. Possibly the blow off of the entire Noam Dar Cedric Alexander thing. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Alicia Fox turns on Cedric Alexander and goes with the creepy man, for all we know. Yeah, so that they also had the cruiserweights with Neville beating Lince Dorado with his Rings of Saturn submission. Perry Saturn, you sure are wishing you had Boppy around right now so you could be on TV again. Because, they're not going to have you on TV just with you doing what Neville just did in this match. I mean, the match was actually good for what it was. I love the fact that Neville's just getting more and more pissed every time. To the point where he put the Rings of Saturn in again, and Rich Swann had to come in and break it up so that he could stand tall, and then Neville could just be super asshole here. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I thought it was, entertaining. I think the match was good, and I just love this whole situation with Neville and just the fact that he's doing anything to prove how, evil he can be, how mean and aggressive, and, he's going to do anything to prove to everybody that, he is the king of the cruiserweights. So I'm okay with this. I really enjoyed it, and doing the Rings of Saturn, that brings back some great memories for me.
I mean, I'd pay money to watch this live in a longer format. They probably put on a great match. But Neville continues to be entertaining. The booking continues to be very strong for him. I mean, sooner or later, he might be the only person you care about out of all this.
Yeah. I mean, it says a lot, though, that we keep talking about the guy being on there, and then when he is on there, he performs, he's knocking it out of the park. Speaking of the only other one of the few cruiserweights that's also knocking it out of the park, Jack Gallagher, every time he's on, he is awesome, and he goes out and wrestles Drew Gulak here. He, does his normal stuff, gets the win on Drew Gulak, and then he announces that he is going to have a parlay with Daivari. Now, if you've watched, Pirates of the Caribbean, you know what a parlay is, but they have to ask Gallagher what a parlay is, so he has to explain it. And we're gonna, we had a duel before, now we're gonna have a parlay on 205 Live. I mean, they are. I want to say at least getting creative with this, right? We've had a duel, now we get to go on the other end of the spectrum. Are you excited about this parlay?
I think it'll be fun. It's just one of those things where now, you're wanting to watch 205 Live if you don't watch it on a regular basis, and I think that's great. And, this parlay will be, probably be really entertaining. I think I'm looking forward to it. I can't speak for anyone else, but, I mean, my goodness. I mean, Jack Gallagher, like we talk about all the time, just keeps you going, keeps you interested in what they're doing, and these two matches on, tonight's Raw for the Cruiserweights really does do them some good. I think, honestly, surprisingly, the first time that the Cruiserweights kind of outshined maybe 2 or 3 divisions here.
I mean, they got a star on their hands in Jack Gallagher. The duel went well. Hopefully this parlay will too. Naturally, it's not going to be an actual parlay. It's going to break down. So, but I think they do a good. If everything they do on Raw is just meant to build up and lead you into 205, which is definitely what it seems like this week, I think they're doing a good job of that. Even though it makes them look like they get nothing on Raw, I mean, you watch them on 205 Live, and they're great.
Yeah, I mean, you could have still skipped the Shawn Michaels segment and given both the matches a little bit longer, but, you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You get Sheamus versus Luke Gallows here with Carl Anderson and Cesaro bickering on commentary. Carl Anderson continuously makes references to how big of a deal in Japan they are. Michael Cole, with all due respect, you still haven't won the tag titles here. And they, while Anderson and Cesaro are, they bicker, Gallows and Sheamus are having a match. You eventually get Anderson and Cesaro getting involved in the match. And, but the problem is that Cesaro gets the last distraction and Sheamus wins with the bro kick. Actually, it was decent for what it was. Both teams win a singles match, and this program continues.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I mean, really, there's nothing to it. I don't want to be overly critical. That's all I've been doing tonight, I guess. But I kind of was wanting Gallows to win in a way because they had Carl Anderson over there and distracting Cesaro. So that to me gives Gallows the easy win. But they took it away, and of course that somehow distracted Gallows. So Gallows, his own medicine worked against him. Just didn't know if I really was thrilled with that. But at the end of the day, everybody gets a win. Everybody continues this thing until Royal Rumble. That's okay, I guess. I have so many concerns because we've just seen Anderson and Gallows just being tossed around, lose, win, lose, win. It's just not what I want to see from them. I can't wait to the day that they get the chance to be maybe dominant for like 5 minutes or so.
All I care about is that Anderson won.
I mean,
Gallows
they
sometimes gets the pins.
They say 50-50 on the single matches so far, so I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys in a tag team match. If they get 12, 15 minutes to really work something well, you might have something magical on your hands.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be great. I want to get to that point. Right now, I'm okay, but I'm just not thrilled. I want to see better, and I think that we'll get better. This match wasn't bad. There's nothing wrong with the match. There really isn't. Just the ending was just kind of, I'm not sure I loved it, but it was still fine.
Yeah. Not everything's going to be perfect, So, we get to the last segment that we're going to talk about here with Mick Foley's performance review, where basically Mick Foley goes on this long speech about having history with Undertaker and all this. We pretty much, I think you've watched wrestling at all at any point, the history between Mick Foley and The Undertaker. Stephanie comes out and says, okay, well, we're going to do your performance review right now, and you're going to have terrible scores because, you didn't produce The Undertaker. Well, The Undertaker eventually comes out, says that he is beholden to no one. No one owns him. He's going to do whatever he wants. So basically he can show up on SmackDown or Raw because he's The Undertaker. And he is going to be in the Royal Rumble, guys. Are you ready? The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble. And you know what? I think he might win this damn thing.
Ooh, that could be the case. I mean,
Cena wins the title at Royal Rumble, and there's your match.
I love Paul's response on this. I love the fact that he says, he's going to bury 29 souls, I think, or something like that, or he said he's done it before. At the end of the day, it's going to be kind of neat to see, Undertaker and Braun Strowman and all these other big guys are going to be a part of this. You're going to have Baron Corbin a part of this match, so it'll be neat.
Speaking of Strowman, I forgot to mention that, Goldberg's actually signed to wrestle at Fastlane. or Elimination Chamber, whatever the hell their pay-per-view is. I keep forgetting.
SmackDown has Elimination Chamber. Raw has Fastlane.
Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get Braun and Goldberg at Fastlane.
Ooh, don't know if I like that. I don't want Braun Strowman to lose.
Maybe he doesn't necessarily lose. Maybe Brock comes in and screws him over or something like that, you know.
That could be the case. That sounds better. But I just assumed it. Yeah,
I just
guess
can't
that
believe
works
that they're having him do all this, or maybe it's Roman. Who knows? But you know, like I just can't imagine that they're having him do so much where he mentions Goldberg, and they're not going to have a match or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because it's kind of funny to me that he would even utter that name, and by him doing that, it does allude to a future match. But I don't know. They could go in a different direction. You never know. But that it is cool. It's neat to hear that Goldberg's going to do another show. And I honestly didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Rumble and Mania was going to be all he would do. So obviously he's enjoying his time, which I mean he should be. He's not doing a lot
why
of wrestling.
not? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I would love that schedule personally. I wish I could go to work, 3 times in 3 months or something. But anyway, here it is. You got Undertaker being a part of the Royal Rumble. It's fun. It's exciting because people love Undertaker. He's legendary. I just do wonder if he is going to have that option of being like in the Final Four in the Rumble and maybe lose somehow. But him winning, I can't say that I would hate it, I guess. Though I'm always one of those guys. I want to see a younger guy finally pull it off, but that's not usually what happens in these kind of things.
Undertaker winning the Rumble is very meh to me. I still enjoy Taker from time to time, and if they were going to do Cena, I really wish they would have done that a couple of years ago. But there's a lot of talk of them wanting to do that. I'd love to see AJ and Undertaker. I think it fits right in the wheelhouse. So letting Taker work with a younger talent, somebody who can help cover everything for him, and that could certainly be a great main event too. Taker wins the Rumble, and you go into, and if he does challenge for the World Championship over on SmackDown, what do you do at Elimination Chamber if you have Cena win the belt at Rumble? I think they have AJ retain at the Rumble. Just it would make so much more sense for AJ to lose in the Chamber. That way he could still be a viable contender down the road because he has the excuse of losing in Chamber against 5 other guys or whatever. So Taker's coming back. It's great. Him in the Rumble, fine. He'll probably come in at 30. Whatever.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Like I said, even if he doesn't win it, I think it'll be, at least neat to see him a part of it, especially since we all know his career's pretty much winding down. And I think this, possibly could be his last run of Mania. So, I mean, whoever it is or whatever it takes place, I think it'll be good. I think they already had that plan in place. Hopefully, if he continues thinking that, maybe he wants to move on, they'll just have him wrestle Goldberg and that'll end his career. So.
God,
so long as he doesn't take a head kick, he'll be okay.
Yeah, you just never know. Vince is like, he keeps wanting to wrestle. Let's end this. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, this is the big exciting part of Raw. And I don't know, Shawn. I don't know if I was really super excited. I mean, it's nice to see.
I mean, I kind of figured that's what it was for, that he was going to enter the Rumble. We'd already heard this several times, that this is what's going to be happening. He did say WrestleMania wasn't going to define him, so next best thing is being the Rumble. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So, well, I mean, I think that, I think I've gushed and all this stuff about this Raw. I mean, I think I've said pretty much all I can say. How about you guys? I've just been overwhelmingly positive this entire Raw review. So.
Yeah, so I want to hear your rating then.
I think this is the most negative I've ever been. I shouldn't be in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood, honestly. I just got through enjoying watching Raw, and of course, a spectacular national championship game. So not in a
Yeah,
bad
where
mood at
Alabama
all.
didn't win. So I mean, like,
Yeah,
what are we
I,
not to be excited
I,
about?
yeah, I'm not in a bad mood. I just think this show with having two legends on it and the other content we got was very ho hum. And the main event picture, I get it.
Well, I think that's why though. They
Yeah,
knew they were up against college football's playoff, and they always
it's
do
not an
terrible
excuse.
ratings. I mean,
Yeah, I get it, but it's not an
look,
excuse.
we can talk about this all we want. This is their way that they do things now. When they're up against competition, they fold. They don't try to compete anymore.
Yeah.
So I just think it's like a total like mute point to try to say they should do it the other way. They just don't do it, and they don't care. So it's.
It's fine. It's fine if that's what they want to do business. I don't look at it as a positive piece of business, but that's if they want to do business that way. I mean, there's plenty of other people who don't watch football, and watch wrestling. So I think they should put on the best show that they can. But that's them. It's not me. But at the end of the day, very ho hum. I think a lot of this, could have been just a little bit better. I think they could have put some, better pieces together to make this a more exciting Raw. I'm going to give it a whopping 4. There's not enough progression. There's nothing in here that I'm doing. Even Shawn Michaels, poor Shawn Michaels, just got left out there and basically in a lone land. I felt like he was alone the entire night. Undertaker was just like, hey, I'm going to be in the Rumble. Love me. And that's about it. So, yeah. I mean, even Mick Foley, my God, how it's just moronic for me listening to Stephanie list out all these accomplishments that Mick Foley's done and great things, and then say you suck, Mick Foley. After all these great things that she just listed off that he did well, it's just
I don't know. Sounds very much like a boss that's always expecting something.
Sounds right up Stephanie's alley to me.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. This reads like a Bret Hart special.
Bret Hart special. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't anything really good. Look,
come
we
on, Sean.
highlighted some things that are cool that kind of stood out, but it's very small number of things.
I know you didn't watch the entire show, but I mean, come on, what would you rate it? I mean, just by what you saw. I mean, what do you think?
I missed only like the first 10 minutes. The rest of it I watched here and there. I'm gonna say like a 5 or something. It wasn't offensive, but it wasn't inoffensive,
Yeah. And I'm really curious. Next week, I really, think they'll try to pick up things. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it is the national championship game that it kind of said, hey, guys,
they
let's
have
just
no
put this all.
competition now until September, so.
Very true. Unless I'm forgetting.
Wise.
Yeah, sports-wise. Of course, they'll have all the sitcoms, different shows, I'm sure, air on Mondays. I don't even know what airs on Mondays anymore. But, at the end of the day, what is it?
Gotham airs on Monday.
Oh, Gotham does? Yes, I'm so far behind on that. I don't even know. But, anyway. That is our Wrestling to the Max's Raw review for January 9th, 2017. We hope you enjoyed it. Please go check us out on W2Mnet.com. Not only are you going to find this podcast there, but you're going to find lots of great written reviews, lots of great content if you love wrestling. Plus, also, if you're a video game fan, awesome things over there as well for video games. Lots of great reviews and some columns. You're not going to want to miss any of that. Also, hey, you want to hear us on a more regular basis? Go subscribe to the W2M Network. We'll be available on any device that you have if you just go click on subscribe to us. And, of course, you'll get not only this show, but our SmackDown Live review show, our other review shows like NXT 205 Live, plus our regular episodes of Wrestling to the Max would be Part 1 on Monday nights, Part 2 on Thursday nights. So there you go. We appreciate everybody for coming and checking us out. Of course, once again, I want to thank you all for coming and doing that. And of course, I'm your host, Gary Vaughn. With me tonight was Mr. Sean Gomer and Paul Leeser. And for us all, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.